Whether you're just starting to play EFT or you're starting fresh at the beginning of a wipe, you're going to be hit with a handful of find and transfer style quests which you need to complete in order to begin progressing. These quests require you to extract with items such as gas analyzers, SALEWAS, flash drives, shotguns, and food. A few of these can be quite the headache to find, especially if you don't know where to start looking. So today, I'll be showing you where I had the most success finding them so far in the current patch 0.13. Before we get into it, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/giantbusak or on TikTok under the same name. Starting off, let's talk about SALEWAS. You'll need to find 3 of these for Therapist's Quest Shortage. These spawn frequently in med bags, medical supply crates, at loose med spawns, and on scavs. But you already probably know this, as do the majority of players trying to complete this quest, which makes them that much more difficult to find. Any common med spawn is going to be so frequently hit that your chances of finding a SALEWA there will be very slim. So what you need to do is hit the less commonly looted spawns. Some of my favorite options lie on Reserve. One of the least traveled areas of the map is the upper floors of the King building. Throughout the rooms on these floors, there are various wood shelves which have a high spawn rate for medkits, most commonly SALEWAS. Nearly every raid that I loot these rooms, nobody has bothered to check these spawns, probably since they aren't as obvious as other med spawns. Another great location is on the second floor of Black Pond. There's a small section of the main room which has a variety of loose med spawns as well as a med bag. On customs, the majority of players will be rushing to Crack House, but unless you get the Ruaf spawn, you're unlikely to be the first one there. A less considered option will be underneath the power switch building. There's a small area in the center of the room with a covered body, surrounded by various loose med spawns and a med box. If you're looking for quicker runs, on Factory, there's a medical supply crate right outside of the tent at Med Tent Extract, as well as med spawns in the tent itself. All of these options are just suggestions that I enjoy and are far from your only options. Utilize Map Genie to look for med spawns that are off the typical path that players travel in less loot-dense areas. Remember, SALEWAS are not rare items by any means. There's just a high number of players looking for them. By prioritizing looting low-traffic med spawns, you should be able to find them in only a couple raids. Up next is gas analyzers, 3 of which you'll need to find in total for Sanitary Standards Parts 1 and 2. The spawns for these have been tossed around quite a bit in the past few wipes, so many players have resorted to crafting them. But one of the most common places to find these exists somewhere on every map: filing cabinets. Many players skip over these because they can be a hassle to loot, but I've seen these spawn more gas analyzers than anywhere else these past few days. My favorite location to hit filing cabinets is again Reserve, as they exist in nearly every building on the map. The upper floors of the King and Pawn buildings have plenty and are less heavily traveled than other areas. Other great options are the Night buildings and the Underground Bunker's office, but you're almost guaranteed to encounter PvP in these areas. Another great map is Streets, as many of the office buildings are packed with filing cabinets. If you don't find these quickly while hitting filing cabinets, don't stress. You're almost guaranteed to be gathering loot necessary for both your hideout and later quests. Keep at it, and I guarantee you'll find them in no time. Next up are the 2 MP133 shotguns required for Prapper's Task debut. The most common method of acquiring these is by purchasing them from JAEGER once you unlock him. Since they don't need to be found in raid for the quest, you're able to just purchase them and hand them in. But since so many players are doing this, JAEGER will consistently run out of stock almost immediately. So your next best option is to find them on scavs you kill, which I personally prefer since it doesn't require you sitting and waiting for a restock timer to end. A few early quests require you to kill scavs on customs and woods, so I'd recommend avoiding these maps. Better options would be Streets, Reserve, or Lighthouse, as these locations currently give players lower incentive to hunt scavs. In Streets, I've personally been running into tons of scavs in and around the Concordia building, and it seems to be pretty consistently clear of players. If you're playing in a squad, you can also hunt scavs in Factory. By playing with enough players, you'll have the lobby to yourself and can farm enough scavs to almost guarantee you'll find both shotguns in a single raid. For JAEGER's Task Acquaintance, you'll be required to find a selection of food: Iskras, large cans of Tashanka, and emelya croutons. Many players will rush interchange for these, as Iskras can be commonly found in the cube-shaped black weapon crates there, and the croutons and Tashanka can both be found in the food section of Goshen. While these do have great spawn rates, it's again unlikely that you'll be the only one rushing these locations. My preference is to instead go for anywhere with ration supply crates. These wooden crates look identical to the medical and technical supply crates found on many maps, but can be identified once looting by the name in the top right of the screen. On Reserve, you can find 3 of these under the backside of Black Bishop. If you're able to hit all 3, it's not uncommon to find all the required food in a single raid. Not too far away is the Underground Bunker, where you can find another ration crate in the middle of the central room, but you'll need to steer clear of players and raiders while looting. If ration crates aren't your thing, the Village on Woods is another great area for everything food related. It has enough spawns to fill an entire large backpack and still have plenty of food to spare, with the added bonus of the car extract nearby for an easy exit. One more great option is looting the many grocery stores on Streets. There are a few of these spread throughout the map, as well as small restaurants, which are all packed with food spawns. Pick whichever of these options you're most comfortable with, and you're guaranteed to find all the required food in a raid or two. Lastly, we have flash drives. Every wipe, players seem to have the hardest time finding these, rushing to and battling over every loose spawn they hear about. But I'm here to tell you that there are only two places you need to look for these: safes and, again, filing cabinets. Every single one of my flash drives this wipe was found in a filing cabinet, either on streets or on reserve. They seem to have a very high spawn rate nowadays, no different than any other uncommon item in the filing cabinet loot pool. As for safes, my favorite location is dorms on customs. There are 5 safes total between the 2 dorms buildings, each located behind a locked door. The keys you'll need in order to hit every safe are 2-story 105, 110, and 114, and 3-story 204 and 214. If you're lucky enough to snag each of these keys, you'll likely be getting at least 1 flash drive every raid, as well as many other high-value items. You'll need 5 in total, 2 for Skier and 3 for Jaeger, so get collecting immediately, regardless of where you're at in your progression. And that's going to be it for this video. It's a quick one, but hopefully it helps you a bit if you're stuck trying to find any of these items. Don't get frustrated and don't give up. Everyone has to go through the same process, and nothing beats the feeling of completing it all. But thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.